we have now reached our fourth and final part of speech, which is the conjunction. As a review, the first three parts of speech that we've learned are the noun, the pronoun, and the verb. A conjunction in general is a word that links other words, clauses, or phrases together. We haven't yet learned clauses and phrases, but we will get to those in later modules. There are three types of conjunctions, and we're going to cover two of those in this course, and they are coordinating and subordinating conjunctions. While the names do sound very similar, they have a very different practical application, so you'll want to make a note to keep these separate. Starting with coordinating conjunctions. This one is a bit easier. It is very handy because decades ago, someone created the wonderfully helpful acronym of fanboys. Maybe hearing this name brings all of this back to your memory, but fanboys is how we remember our 7 coordinating conjunctions. It stands for and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. These are our 7 coordinating conjunctions. Of these 7, 2 are very commonly used, which is and but. Sometimes they are used incorrectly, so I will cover and but really fast. And is what you use when you are joining similar items. You're not showing any kind of contrast, you are showing how they are similar. For example, I love apples and I love bananas, which is true. I love them both. That is how to properly use and. However, but is used when you want to show the opposite. For example, I love grapes, but I hate avocado. That is a crazy sentence. I love them both. But you can see the opposite. I love grapes. The opposite of love is hate or a dislike or a distaste for, and I dislike avocados. Again, not true. One additional fanboy that is not used very often, but when it is often used incorrectly. The difference between or and nor. Or shows options. It shows different selections that you could go with. For dinner, we could have spaghetti or we could have steak. 2 great options. One or the other. You have an option, you have a selection. Nor, on the other hand, is a list of negative items. I don't like spaghetti, nor do I like steak. It is listing negatives, so I'm not showing opposites, and they're both similar in the fact that I dislike them both, but they're in the negative. Because they're in the negative, you will sound incredibly brilliant if you use the proper coordinating conjunction of nor the next time you are trying to show more than one negative association. That is our 7 fanboys. Again, they are for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. 7 all together. Next, we have subordinating conjunctions. Again, it is a single word, the same as our coordinating conjunction is one single word. This word, there is probably hundreds of these, so you don't need to memorize them. It's a word that when you hear it, you know exactly what it is, especially if you are a native English speaker. A subordinating conjunction is a single word placed at the start of a group of words that poses an unanswered question. For example, words such as before, because, after, inasmuch, anything like that that would start a question that you would then need to answer, otherwise you would leave your reader confused. Those words, that single word is called a subordinating conjunction. And we'll learn why it has that particular name a little bit later in the course. There is a list of the 50 most common subordinating conjunctions attached below. But again, you don't need to memorize them. You will know it when you hear it. For example, if I use the group of words, before I left for work this morning, if I stopped right there, the reader or listener is going to then be left to wonder, okay, well, what happened? Like, what happened before you left for work this morning? We don't want to cause confusion with our reader, and we definitely don't want to lose their interest by starting to pose a question and then just not answering it. Please note that this is completely different than just asking a question. For example, just a question sentence would be, do you like steak? If I ask that question, I would be expecting someone else to answer that question. Unless, of course, the question is hypothetical. Depending on why you're writing and the purpose of your writing, if it's for academics, for the most part, unless you're in a creative writing program, you don't want to be asking rhetorical questions to your readers. However, using a subordinating conjunction is a very crafty and creative way of doing something similar. You pose an unanswered question and then you immediately answer the question. This is done in a way that changes up the sentence structure. It varies things, it kind of shakes things up to make things more interesting so that your reader is not just reading the same structure over and over again and getting completely bored and wandering away. We don't want our readers to abandon our writing. We definitely don't want to bore our readers to death. So it's great to offer some change up in the structure, and the subordinating conjunction is a fantastic way to do that. So again, both conjunctions use one word. A coordinating conjunction uses the 7 words of fanboy. Any one of those will act as a proper coordinating conjunction to bring together words, clauses, or phrases. And we'll learn how it does that in later modules. The subordinating conjunction is a single word that, when used at the start of a sentence, is going to pose an unanswered question. These together cover our conjunction segment, and you now know everything that you need to know to get a really great start in improving your grammar. Again, we have covered 4 parts of speech: our noun, our pronoun, our verb, and now our conjunctions. You are ready to take the quiz, to do the worksheets, and then finally to move on to forming sentences.